Hey all, before we get into the report of today, I've been trying to make this book known that I bought over Christmas by Raymond. He also did the report. That everyone needs to read this book to understand what is going on between the West and the jihadis today. What is said in the media about it being an ideology, that radical Islam is not part of true Islam. That is false. That is a lie, a misdeception. It is a total deception and a lie. If you want to know why these jihadis hate the West so much, read this book. Get it. Study it. You'll have the truth about what is going on. Here at Order Militaris, we are here to protect Christians from the jihadis. Read this book and learn why our Christians need protection. Once again, as was done in the days of the Holy Crusade, called by Blessed Urban II. All you in the Catholic media, Church Militant, 1 Peter 5, Lepanto Institute. Add this to your reading. Learn the truth about Islam. And don't take mainstream media ideology that it's just an ideology in Islam. Has nothing to do with the jihadis. Now to the report. From Gatestone Institute by Raymond, the author of the book. 11 Christians killed every day for their faith. A couple of bullet points here. One of the most noteworthy trends concerns the shocking reality of the persecution against women. In many places they experience a double persecution, one for being a Christian and one for being a woman. Another trend that should send an alarm is that for the first time since the start of the World Watch List, India has entered the top 10, meaning Christians there are now experiencing extreme persecution. Thank you, Raymond, for reporting this. We did a radio interview maybe about a year or so ago with a Catholic priest from India. We tried to help, but no one donated to help save the school for the Catholic children there. They would be taunted, harassed, everything. And the weird building stuff, permits and everything, also plays a role into persecution. You can see that in how what Mother Teresa of Calcutta was doing, where she had to put up houses or whatever. They too played with her with these permits and everything. So yeah, thank you for finally reporting on that. Father Jesus, thank you for coming to Order Militaris. I'm sorry we haven't been able to help you. I sure still want to help you get that school back up and running. See if I can find the link for it on the Order Militaris webpage. See what we can do. The image here shows a Christian reading the Holy Scriptures while in prison. Has writing beneath it. Last year, Christians were persecuted more than ever before in modern era, and this year is expected to be worse. 4,136 Christians were killed for the faith-related reasons, according to Open Doors USA. Additionally, 2,625 Christians were detained without trial, arrested, and sentenced and imprisoned in 2018. And 1,266 churches or Christian buildings were attacked. Whereas 215 million Christians faced persecution in 2018. 245 million will suffer in 2019 according to Open Doors. A 14% increase. That represents 30 million more people abused for their faith. This means that 1 in 9 Christians experience high levels of persecution worldwide. Note, all quotations in this article are from Open Doors USA 2019. One of the most noteworthy trends concerning shocking realities of persecution against women. In many places, they experience a double persecution, as the bullet point said. One for being a Christian and one for being a woman. Even the most restricted circumstances, gender-specific persecution is the key means of destroying the minority Christian community. Last year, WWL provided more specific numbers. At least 6 women every day are raped, sexually harassed, or forced into marriage to a Muslim man under the threat of death for their Christian faith. This is also explained in this book. Get it, read it, study it. Another trend, one that should send an alarm, is that for the first time since the start of World Watch List, India has entered the top 10, meaning Christians there are now experiencing extreme persecution. Christians have been targeted by Hindu nationalist extremists more each year. Since the current ruling party took power in 2014, attacks have increased, and Hindu radicals believe they can attack Christians with no consequences. The view of the nationalists is that to be Indian is to be Hindu, so any other faith, including Christianity, is viewed as non-Indian. Additionally, in some regions of the country, converts to Christianity from Hinduism experience extreme persecution, discrimination, and violence. The most obvious trend remains unchanged. Islamic oppression continues to impact millions of Christians. And seven out of the top 10 World Watch List countries, the primary cause of persecution is Islamic oppression. This means for millions of Christians, particularly those who grew up Muslim or were born into Muslim families, openly following Jesus can have painful consequences. They can be treated as second-class citizens, discriminated against for jobs, or even violent attacks. Folks, Raymond wrote this book, explains it all. Does no good sitting on the shelves at your bookstore. Get it. Not only is that responsible for the persecution Christians face in 7 of the 10 worst nations, 38 of the 50 nations making the list are Muslim majority. Among the worst persecutors are those that rule according to Sharia. In Afghanistan, ranked number 2, Christianity is not permitted to exist because it is an Islamic state by constitution, which means government officials, ethnic groups, leaders, religious officials, and citizens are hostile toward adherent of any other religion. Similarly, in Somalia, ranked number 3, the Christian community is small and under constant threat of attack. Sharia law and Islam are enshrined in the country's constitution, and the persecution of Christians almost always involve violence. In Iran, only ranked number 9. Society is governed by Islamic law, which means the right and professional possibilities for Christians are heavily restricted. While the forms, persecution, and actors behind them vary, many seem connected to Islam. For example, under Pakistan's notorious blasphemous law, Christians continue to live in daily fear they will be accused of blasphemy, which can carry a penalty of death. In Libya, ranked number 4, Yemen, number 8, Syria, number 11, Iraq, number 13. War has given rise to Islamic militancy and general lawlessness, both of which prey on Christian minorities. In Muslim nations where Christians make up a minority, a significant quantity of churches might be needed to meet their numbers, the visibility of which may offend Muslim sensibilities. Thus in Egypt, ranked number 16, where Christians number at least 10% of the population, possibly even double that. Severe restrictions on buildings and securing places for worship prevent Christians from congregating, in addition to hostility and violence toward believers who do gather. In recent years, Islamic extremist groups have targeted Christians and churches in numerous violent and deadly acts of persecutions. There's that word again the mainstream media likes to use. Even though he's quoting from the report, I had to use the exact wordage. Muslim extremists is not a thing. When they talk about that, they talk about those following the actual historic stuff of the Quran, where it literally says to do what they are doing. If the Muslims from back then saw how the Muslims today who do not live according to the actual Quran and say we don't want to follow it, it'd be bad news. So whenever you hear Islamic extremism, they mean how they are following how it was founded. The spread of radical Islam across sub-Saharan Africa is another growing and troubling trend. For example, Nigeria's score of violence, 99.9%, has stayed as high as possible, primarily due to increased attacks on Christian communities by militant Fulani herdsmen. These attacks claimed the lives of hundreds of believers during the reporting period, and villages and churches burned to the ground. Additionally, in parts of northern Nigeria, Christians are treated as second-class citizens. Some WWL's findings are surprising. Although Orthodox Christians are the majority of its population, the Russian Federation is number 41. The source of persecution is again Islamic oppression. Christians in a part of Russia dominated by Islam report the highest level of persecution. Despite the role of religion, North Korea, number 1, remains the worst nation, where never-ending pressure and violence is directed against Christians. The primary driver of persecution in North Korea is the state. For 3 generations, everything in the country has focused on idolizing the Kim family. Christians are seen as hostiles to be eradicated. As difficult as it is for Christians identified by the Kim regime, there may be some eventual relief for them and those in other communist nations, such as China, who is ranked the 27th country. Cult of personality might last long, but in the Arab and Muslim world, where sadly there seems to be little or no education to respect religious differences, the weight of the dominant religion continues to permeate all of society. Wow. Unbelievable. So that is a report from the Gatestone Institute. Now we're still here, Order Militaris, and we don't get government funding like the other security organizations who have been known to break laws, like Blackwater and all those others. Since we are Catholic, we want to remain Catholic, follow the rules of every place we go, have the proper papers, everything. This is why we are founded, after the martyrdom of Father Jacques Hamel, to be a source of security for the Christians who have none. So if you want to do something about it, and offer these Christians who are being terrorized by jihadis, the Iraqi Christians still need help. They're still calling out. Don't believe the news reports, folks. ISIS is not gone. There are already others worse than ISIS on the on-deck circle. A town near Mosul, but it was done in the National Catholic Register by Ed Pennington, is being terrorized again. They want help, but they can't call the Iraqi government for help because, well, they're part of the problem. Because when you call 911 there, you have to tell them, oh, by the way, I'm a Christian. Sorry, we ain't come to help you. Oh, we got a fire here. Sorry, you have to let it go out by itself. Meaning, you lose your house. There's a robber here. I hope not coming. Or otherwise, it's the government doing the persecution itself. So, we are founded to help these Christians. All Christians being persecuted by Islamic terrorism. If possible, other Christians. So go to ordo-militaris.us. Go to the donate page and become a member today. Go to the investment page. Purchase some stock and help us. If you're a veteran, retired, tired that nothing's being done, you want to do something about it, you know a lot of guys who feel the same way. Go to the sign up page. Follow the steps. We rely on you for direct funding, either through donations or stock purchases. So make it happen, folks. If you want to protect Christians and not just cry about it over your keyboard, we are here to do something about it. Time for passivity and the heirs of it are over. The modernism that has crept into the church and now runs openly, where they say the words of Urban II should not be done. That time is over. It's time to reheed the call of Urban II to protect our Christian brothers and sisters. Don't be passive. Get over your liberal self. Forget about your liberal ideology and become Catholic once again. Remember your ancestors who fought in the Holy Crusades, who protected Christians. It's the time to take up their work once again. This is personal to me. I have many crusaders. I actually led the crusades. St. King Louis IX, great uncle. King Henry II of England, great grandfather. King Richard I of Lionheart, great uncle. Kings of Jerusalem, uncles. The man who stopped the Islam invasion at the Battle of Tours, Charles Martel, great grandfather. The man who started the reconquest of Europe and Spain, Charlemagne, first cousin. I can do what I can do from this computer. That is it. Those who are healthy, not sick, not homebound, can do a lot more. Gatesone